G'day, James here again from Content Snare, and this is part 5 and the final video in our Getting Content from Clients series. So if you're just joining us now, I'll drop a link into part 1 so you can catch up with all the other stuff. But in this one, I'm going to talk about guidance and actually guiding your clients through their content requests. And we're going to go into some tools that you can use for this process. And I've always sort of likened this part to the blank screen problem. So when you sit down to write a blog post or write something, it's always quite difficult to start if you're just looking at a blank screen, right? So that's what we're trying to solve here for our clients. And part 1 of that is asking for specific content. So in the previous video, we talked about wireframes and actually breaking down those like wireframes or mock-ups into specific pieces like a headline or a subheadline or a background image. And then what that enables you to do is ask for those specific pieces of content in the request. So in the screenshot, you can see here, we're asking for emails, and then we've just got a 1-by-1 table in the Google document where the client can come in and enter that information. So you could have a box for a headline and a box for a subheadline, just like any form, but you're doing it in a document. We'll get into some of these tools later. But the next bit I wanted to talk about here, the main part, is that actual guidance. So in between where you see emails in the box, there's just a little bit of text guiding them through what exactly you need, maybe why it's important. I'm going to show you some examples of that now. And just like we spoke about last time with the wireframes, you can create templates from this. So you don't need to create entirely new content requests for every single client. You might have a template that for a contacts page, for example, that has address and email and phone number and whatever other office addresses, and do they want to have a tick box there, and you could save that and reuse that on multiple clients. And you could have general homepage sections like a hero header or something that asks for a headline and a subheadline and a button, whatever you need to ask for, and then save that and reuse it on other clients. So this is just an example. So if you were a client and you received something that just asked for a heading and a blurb, some people don't even go this far. They might just say, send us the information about your services. But even if you break it down into heading and blurb, that makes it really difficult because they don't know what to write. Whereas if you actually split that up into and add these kind of instructions into it, how we've got here, like we're aiming for 6 to 12 words with no fluff, we're going to focus on features and benefits, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, we might even link out to a more, like a better guide, a full blog post or something on how to write headlines. Just if they really need that extra guidance or they need that assistance, they can click through and learn more. And those guides you could always create based on what clients tend to struggle with. When you first start improving your content process, talk with your clients and ask which bits they're getting stuck on, and maybe they'll be good ideas for what kind of instructions to write inside the request like this, or for external guides to create. Finally, down the bottom there's a constraint, no larger than 200 characters. So this is a Content Snare screenshot where we've actually limited the client so they can only put in certain kinds of content. So a few tools you can use to set all of this up. This is to round up everything. This isn't just for guidance. This is for content collection in general. So web forms, this is just the classic. If you're using WordPress, you've got Gravity Forms, Ninja Forms. There's some hosted options like Typeform or Google Forms. And it might look something like this, where you've just got some instructions at the top and they scroll through and they type in their content. Maybe they're copying and pasting in from somewhere else. This tends to be best for turnkey type websites or templated websites where you're building the same thing for every client. Like they've picked from a template that you're offering, and they're kind of limited to that, and you know what content fields there's going to be, so you can just reuse this every time. If you need to modify this for every client, they can get a bit tedious. They're also not great for allowing clients to save their work as they go. Some of them allow this, but they're a little bit disjointed. Like this example here is Gravity Forms, and down the bottom there's a button to save and continue later, but the amount of clients that have got lost looking for that is crazy. So they do have their downsides as well. And next we've got docs, documents. So Microsoft Word, whatever the Mac equivalent is, and Google Docs. So this is just an example here where we've got a document that we can reuse on multiple clients. I should have some instructions and guidance in there. I don't. But this is just an example, really. So to show you that you can create a document, put, in this case, a 1-by-1 table in it. However you want to lay this out is up to you. You might want to have 2 columns in landscape or something where you've got the bits of content you need down the left, like headline, subheadline, and then the box for them to type it in on the right. Totally up to you, but they're quite nice, Google Docs, because then you can work on it at the same time as them and you can add comments and that kind of stuff. So from that front, they're quite good. The problem is they're a little bit open as well. So this is obviously an example, but this is not even close to the worst kind of content we've got back from clients before, where they've got weird highlighting and instructions throughout the bullet point images and weird stuff like this. And it takes so long to unformat this to get it actually usable for a website. So when you've got something as open as a Google document, it can result in stuff like this. And finally, we've got Content Snare, which is our tool, which we built because we got frustrated with those other systems. So what we've got in the end is a tool that combines the reminders to stay on top of your clients to provide content, as well as the ability to structure out requests and asks for separate specific pieces of content, and those built-in guidance on like how to write headlines and stuff like that. So there's built-in templates that you can suck straight in. Takes you a few minutes to get your first demo homepage, for example, set up and sent to a client. And this is a example of what it might look like when your client receives that content request. So they've got the headline with the instructions and a box to type it in. It's pretty much that simple. There's boxes if they want to upload images as well, and you can constrain those images into certain sizes or aspect ratios, but that's a little bit beyond the scope of this video. So to recap everything we've done so far, we've talked about how content delays affect the bottom line of your business through wasted time and stress, why clients actually stall so that we can fix it, how to stay on top of your reminders, using visual references and wireframes to help your clients through the process, and finally structuring out those pieces of specific content and guidance and instructions on how to actually provide that content. So that's it. If you'd like to try Content Snare, go to contentsnare.com. It's pretty much that simple. There's a sign up button there. And I'd be very keen to hear what you think. And either way, even if you don't try Content Snare, I hope this series has been helpful. These are all the learnings that we've got over a long time of talking to people who are using Content Snare and finding out what they do differently to get content back so quickly. Like, we see a lot of people that aren't doing so well and ones that are, and these things that we've rolled into this series is they're basically everything that the most successful people are doing. So I hope that helps, and yeah, thanks for watching.